Today's episode is sponsored by Spartan Chemical Company. Family owned and operated since 1956, Spartan Chemical is a leading manufacturer of superior and cost-effective specialty chemical products sold through select, trusted distributors. At Spartan Chemical, we make clean, simple. For more information, please visit spartanchemical.com.
Today's topic is strategic planning. You know, when you think about what that means, it could be a lot of different moving parts. And for me, I don't know about the rest of you watching this, but I think of writer's block. When you want to create a plan, what are you going to do? Where do you start? Well, we're going to start today with Dean Mercado, the CEO of Online Marketing Muscle. He specializes in digital marketing coaching. Dean, I have to think you know a little bit about strategic planning. True?
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right. You know, you and I were talking offline about how broad a topic that is.
Yes.
What can we drill into today for our audience?
Right. Well, strategic planning is big. It could be a multi-day event. So my recommendation would be, let's take one little piece of it. Let's talk systems, processes, procedures, because that is a big part of really getting strategic around your business and creating a business that basically can operate without you. Dare I say it? Make sense?
It does. It does. So where do we start?
Well, why don't we start? Because number one, we don't know who's listening exactly. So let's just talk about, well, what are systems? What are we talking about when we're talking? We're talking about a set of processes, a set of tools, a set of procedures that you would use, that you would implement in your business to accomplish some specific goal or objective. That's it. It's just that simple. Pulling things together to accomplish something specific. That's what it is. Now, when we systemize a business, we want to talk about, why do we want to do that? Why is that so important? And I'll very succinctly say it's really important because, number one, we want to create a company that can operate better, faster, and cheaper than it currently does. Better, faster, cheaper, right? Because if you're not doing it, I can guarantee you your competitors are, right? And we want to make sure that we stay in the game. We want to make sure that we could stay ultra competitive. So, and also another big piece of it is the owner independence, right? And that reminds me of, you know, maybe you did too, Jeff, but I grew up on Bugs Bunny. I come from the Bugs Bunny generation. We were raised by Bugs Bunny, and there's this one episode that makes a lot of sense here. And it was an episode where Bugs Bunny was just hanging out in his hole, doing his thing, right? And all of a sudden, this construction crew comes in and they build a baseball field right on top of where Bugs Bunny's hole is, right? So the game ensues, right? And it's these big burly guys, the Gas House Gorillas, and they are slaughtering the other team. And Bugs Bunny hears the ruckus, pops his head up, starts heckling these Gas House Gorillas, right? They come over there, they grab him, they pull him out of the hole, and they're like, "You're going to play us now," right? So Bugs Bunny's like, "Okay, Doc, I'll play you now," right? So they throw Bugs Bunny out in the field. Now, here's the tie-in. The tie-in is basically the announcer comes on and says, "Okay, we got some changes to the game. On first base, Bugs Bunny. On second base, Bugs Bunny. Pitching, Bugs Bunny. Left field, Bugs Bunny." So, in essence, Bugs Bunny's playing every single position on the field. Now, you as a business owner, do you resonate with that? I know I had in the past, and I know many, many clients throughout the cleaning industry in particular that I've had the wonderful opportunity to coach over the years. They did too. And it was getting us out of our own way long enough so that we don't have to be Bugs Bunny in this case. We don't have to drive ourselves bananas trying to figure out, how do I get this thing to just do better for us, right? Create something better, create a legacy, and dare I say it, create more profit, right? Create a business that makes more profit. Because I know in the and I could speak to my residential cleaning folks in particular here. We know profit margins are typically pretty slim, right? We're always having to price at a certain level that is competitive. And sometimes that doesn't give us a lot to work with, right? So the better our systems, the better our processes, the better our procedures, the more likely we're going to see that profitability in the business. Now, when I talk systems, I basically jump into three different kinds, right? First kind are your administrative systems. When I talk administrative systems, I'm talking about your human resources systems, your IT or technology type systems. I'm also talking about your financial and your accounting systems like bookkeeping and so on and so forth. Essentially, your admin systems are the glue that holds your business together. The necessary evils. We don't like doing them so much, but we have to because it keeps everything moving in the right direction. So administrative is the first one. Second one, marketing and sales, right? These are your lead generation systems. These are your lead conversion systems. In other words, how do you attract clients to your business? How do you convert those clients into, or those prospects into paying clients? These are all part of your marketing and sales systems, right? And then the third piece of this is what we call your operational systems. And these are, well, how are you going to deliver what you just sold, right? So if you're a carpet cleaner, how are you doing your carpet cleaning services? What's your system for delivering on your carpet cleaning, right? It also goes as far as talking about your customer service. What does that look like, right? So we try and classify them into one of these three veins because then it starts to make it easier. It takes a little bit of the overwhelm because once you start listing out all your systems, it really can be overwhelming. It could be a little scary. And then what does it do? It causes us to do nothing. We sit back and say, yes, we know it's a great idea, Dean, but you know what? There's 1,000 different systems we have. I get that. So what I would challenge all of you to do today would be to take a look at your systems. Just start brainstorming them down in those three categories: administrative, marketing, and sales, and then take the operational systems. Start listing out a few of them, and then just prioritize them. If you were to fix one system or document one system this week, which one would it be? Which one has the opportunity to make you, or to create the biggest bang for the buck for you, for your business, for your clients, for your team, right? Then it becomes easier. It's like one foot in front of the other kind of thing. We obviously can't document 1,000 systems in one shot, but we could start with the one. And now I hear several of you out there saying, but I don't have the time, I don't have the tools to do that. And I'm saying hogwash. I've worked with enough in the industry to say, you know what? Just sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. Sit down and just think through a specific process. Take 15 minutes and write a checklist out. That's it.
Yeah, I prefer a pencil because of all the mistakes I make.
Right, exactly. A piece of cake, but that's all it takes. And that's all I would be asking. That's how this game gets started. And then it gets addictive, right? Because now you have something you could actually train your team on. You can actually create a more predictable result in your business because things are being done the same way, or at least they're starting to move in that direction. And then you put checks and balances in place to make sure things are being done the way you want them done. And again, this produces a more predictable result for your business and ultimately, hopefully, that better profit. Makes sense?
It does. It does, Dean. I was thinking as you were talking, what holds people back? And you covered that. It's overwhelming. It's like,
Yes.
If I have to write an article, I got to start on that blank piece of paper. What do I do? Well, once you start, it all happens. And I think that's part of it. I like your idea of writing things down.
Absolutely.
Bite-size projects, things you can actually start and maintain, but looking at the whole thing as one big project, that's scary.
Yes. And I'll leave you with one big point.
Okay.
Right? If if you neglect doing this, all you're doing is creating a job for yourself, because you'll never be able to get out from underneath it yourself. So yes, it's going to take you time to create that first system. Yes, it's going to take you time to train somebody on how to use it. But until you do, you get stuck doing it. Now, when you got 1,000 of these pieces, these systems, and oh, just let me do it. And a lot of this stems from, I remember coaching a client a long time ago, coaching an actual cleaning client. And we had talked about, and the conversation came out of, if I only had 10 of me, Dean, my business would be booming. We wouldn't be hitting this glass ceiling we keep hitting. Well, hence came the concept out of that we call Clone the Owner. That's our system. That came out of that, was out of that conversation with a cleaning company. That if I just had 10 of me, Dean, and I said, you know what? You're right. And I thought the same thing for myself for so many years. If I only had, I even went as far in trying to hire people who were just like me, and finding out that didn't work either. Right? Because when all that information is stuck here and it's not put down on paper where someone else can use it, you're the one who gets stuck doing it over and over again.
I get the concept.
Right.
We need to avoid the Bugs Bunny run around and focus as business owners, as managers, on what we need to do, and use your team to make the organization stronger every day.
Excellent.
All right. Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, you're very welcome.